Hey everyone, welcome to the KE Report, a company update from Aztec Minerals. We're going to be recapping the most recent news release announcing 3 more drill hole results from the Tombstone Project in Arizona. I am chatting with Simon Dyakowski, President and CEO of Aztec. Company is traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol AZT and on the OTCQB under the symbol AZZTF. Now, Simon, let's talk about these 3 holes. These 3 holes follow up on the initial 2 holes released at the tail end of last month, continuing to drill around this contention pit, and then upcoming results being out to the west at that west side area. Overall, my takeaway from these holes, again, long width, similar gold grades to what we saw before. Simon, what can you tell us now that we have 5 holes out from this year's drill program at Tombstone?
Hey, yeah, thanks a lot for having me on the show today. And we're able to get 3 additional drill holes out this morning. Holes 3 and 5 were extensions of the fence pattern that we had started drilling with holes 1 and 2. And what I can tell you about those is they both continue to step out and grow the gold silver zone to the west now. And, if you look on the plan map, you can see where those holes are collared. Holes, really 1, 2, 3, and 5. They're on a road that almost runs up the next ridge line over to the west side. So we're really happy to see those come in almost entirely well mineralized. I'll note that hole 3 did have some poor recovery towards the bottom of the hole as we got close to and/or hit a couple of samples. So there are some zero values in that drill hole that potentially could be understating the mineralization in that area, but because of the nature of that drilling, we just have to report the numbers that we have. But overall, we weren't disappointed with hole 3. It was a nice wide zone, consistently mineralized in the same style that we're seeing closer to the main part of the pit. And then, hole 5 was the standout of this program, or not of the program, but of this release rather, and that was 114 meters of 0.6 grams gold equivalent. And of that, the gold component was 0.39 grams per ton gold, and the silver was just under 17 grams silver. So that was a good result, really nice width, shows the continuity of the system out towards the west. Hole 4 was to the east. This is a vertical hole. It was very well mineralized towards the top of the hole, and then we did lose it in some poor ground towards the bottom, but we're happy with the results. I'd say the key takeaway from these would be continued expansion to the west, still in the called the contention zone proper. And we do have results pending from holes 6 and 7 as well, which we hope to get out soon. Those were also along that west side not the west side target, but the west side of the contention pit. So we're steadily growing, and hopefully, if we have some decent results at some of our first pass targets in the west side target area, we'll start to see these 2 target zones converge. We've also moved the drill down towards the south end of the pit. So if anybody's able to look at the plan map, you'll see these light blue dots, and a couple of those holes are being completed right now. And we do visually really like what we're seeing there. So another target zone that will hopefully come into play for us next year is the south contention, or the Grand Central Zone. And that is south of that main grid pattern that we've drilled in the contention pit. So all in all, I mean, visually, we continue to see our model being validated. We're having good, moderate grade results here that are consistent with what we're seeing in the model, and consistent with growth. And we do expect to have results starting to flow a little bit more regularly in January, as we have many more samples now prepared and shipped off to the lab.
Okay, so regarding this area where you've been drilling in and around this contention pit, I will post that plan map in the show notes so everyone can see where these holes are located. Can we put a number on how much this mineralized area has grown now with some of these results?
We could, but I think it's a little premature to say that without, having the results of holes 6 and 7, for example, out, or the results of holes 16 or 17, which are towards the south end of the pit. So I think we'll have a better answer for you on that note probably in 4 to 6 weeks. So hopefully we can chat about that then. And then, what will be really interesting is to see how these west side area targets come back as well.
When will we get some of those results from the west side area?
Given the pace of results that we've seen to date, I think we'll start to see them in early to mid-January.
Okay. Now, and I'll just remind everybody, this west side area, this is the new area to be drilled. What would we be looking for in terms of mineralization at that west side area?
Well, we're basically looking for similar styles to what we've drilled in contention. If you look at the plan map again, you can see some of the mineralizing features that we believe have the potential to drive some of the mineralization that the old timers were mining. So you have anticlines, which run approximately east-west. There are a couple of fissures or veins that run sort of southwest to northeast. And then we have these cross-cutting dikes that run north-south. So essentially, we're looking to see similar styles of mineralization as to contention, but in areas that haven't yet been open pit mined.
So these 15 holes that the company has completed, is that the whole program, or are you going to be drilling a few more holes?
That is not the whole program. There are a couple of more holes underway now. We should be done by the end of December here, but 15 is not the total program. So we should have at least 17 holes, and I think we'll be over 3,000 meters by the time it's all said and done.
Okay. And that was the increase from 2,000 meters that we talked about, I believe, tail end of last month. So drilling continuing, news to come on more drill results as they trickle in from the lab. Anything else that investors should be watching out for regarding Aztec Minerals then, Simon?
I would say, aside from the particulars of this drill program, I would encourage investors to have a think about tax loss selling and how I think in Canada, the last day of tax loss this year is on the 30th with 1 day settlement. So I think there's a good opportunity here to have a look at Aztec. Obviously, I'm not a licensed investment advisor. Can't comment on anybody's particular situation, but I do think our shares have been unduly pressured from potential tax loss sales. So I'm very happy that we have good news flow ready for the market early in the new year when tax loss will be in the rearview mirror. And hopefully a nice time for us to pause here and think about how gold has rallied, about 35% over the last 12, 14 months. It's been a fantastic move in the gold price. Silver has had its moments when it's shined, but I think the new year will help the market put that back into perspective, that we're in a strong precious metal price environment here, and we have an excellent project that is actively being advanced right now in a mining friendly state on private ground in a past producing environment. So we've got all the ingredients here to advance the company and the projects that we have under the Aztec umbrella.
All right, Simon, thank you very much for this update. As I mentioned, I will post that plan map in the show notes as well as a link to the Aztec Minerals website so you all can read over that recent news. Simon, thank you for this update right before the end of the year. I'm sure we'll be chatting early in 2025.
Thanks, Ed, and Merry Christmas to all the KER listeners.